Oh. So today is Wednesday, October 11th. No one was at the peat bog when I first got here. And I was like excited. And then started walking on the path. Then I heard behind me, I looked and saw there was a car pulling in. So I was like, fuck, someone's gonna catch up. So then I just started sprinting. And that was fun and freeing and liberating. I think I should do trail runs here. I haven't sprinted in a long time. So that was fun. And then I kept looking back going like, should I stop? And then I didn't, because I kept going, because I kept wanting to continue running. So that's why I'm out of breath. So today, really feeling good today. And also feeling good today, like I'm understanding going, okay, I need to fucking prioritize living healthy. Obviously, because this is the feeling that it gets. But then I also understand the mechanism through which alcohol works. It's difficult to extinguish the habit because, okay, when it comes to learning and reinforcements, there's two dimensions that they vary. It's on recency, like timing, and intensity. It's like how much, obviously. So like certain behavior, you give super intense positive reward, they're gonna remember that behavior like good because they got that big fucking thing. Or behavior happens and then you reinforce it immediately rather than within 12 days. Like as a major exaggeration. Obviously, the person who does the behavior that is rewarded 12 days after doing the behavior that they're trying to reinforce won't learn or won't connect that thing to that behavior. The same works with a negative reinforcement. So, alcohol, you drink it. The next day, even if you have a terrible fucking hangover, negative reinforcement, because when you drink, the more immediate, more recent reinforcement was the good feeling you get when you're drunk or tipsy, whatever. That's what forms the behavior. So even something like, okay, now I feel good having slept well, ate well, mostly just not poisoned myself. This is what you want to be reinforced, but it doesn't have the same unfortunate, it's not like an obvious like, oh, I felt really good after this thing. It's just more collectively all of the things put together have put me to a more positive state of mind and well-being. So that aside, today made 67 times 2 dials. So 14, 120, 134 dials total, 134 dials. 0 booked demos. So potentially disappointing. However, 2 positive things to take away from the day. Number 1, I think there were like 25 plus connections. So actual conversations with potential customers. All of them turned into they don't have capacity or aren't the ideal profile. So it's like we could sell it to them, but it's not really designed for people like that. Like if they do life insurance, but they only do life insurance, I mean, it would bring you clients, but unless you're also doing annuities or IULs, it's not going to have the same sort of value added. Or if they just do health. I think I've talked about this before. But so lots of that. But the other positive thing is people keep loving the cold call line. Like the, hello, hey, listen, this is a cold call, so you can hang up right now, or give me the 30 seconds I need to explain what we do, and then decide if you want to keep talking. There were 2 people. There was one guy who said at the end of the call, he went going like, hey, what was that line? Like, I'm in sales too, I want to use that. I was like, yeah, no, it's great. And then there was another lady who laughed after I said it. And then midway through me, like she says, go on. And then midway through me explaining to her, like going through the pitch in the program, she stops me and goes like, I'm still hung up on what you said to begin with. Like, I want to write that down. That is a consequence. She was another not ideal client profile, but she said she had been recently thinking about getting into annuities and was speaking with her husband about it. And then now hearing about the program, because I specifically went going like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't actually sound like it would be a good fit because you're not doing annuities. And she went going like, oh, now I kind of want to get into annuities, and said, call me back in 6 months, which again, you kind of go like, oh, well, the day was wasted because you didn't book a demo. But I did plant seeds. And while those seeds may not foster, germinate, grow up into becoming harvest in the form of a new client, the potential is there nonetheless. And more importantly, the not negative impression was given. So that's that. As well as I'm recognizing the fact that, okay, I think, and this is more just a gut feeling, but there were a couple hangups today at the, like, you can hang up right now. Those were both in the morning. So my gut kind of tells me, like, people are not as open to a transparent person saying this is a sales call in the morning, because they might have other shit they're trying to deal with. Whereas in the later morning and closer to in the afternoon and almost hitting the evening, their defenses aren't as up, because they're not like they've solved problems. Like whatever they did in the morning feels like they accomplished something. They're a bit more relaxed in the afternoon, so then more receptive to it. Again, it's just a hypothesis based on no real concrete evidence. But what else? Oh, that's what it is. I've also noticed the tonality in which I actually say the sentence, I think, actually is going to have an impact, because, and again, this is another gut feeling, no real verified with numbers to back that up, but the way I've been saying it that has been working is like, what's the name? Jennifer. Listen, Jennifer, like, say the name to begin with so they get their attention. This is a cold call. Oh, I'll be upfront. This is a cold call, so you can hang up, or, and more the tonality emphasizing the you can hang up, then followed by the or, rather than you can hang up, like focusing on the hang up part, because I think psychologically, and again, this is a little bit more theory, like I'm thinking and it makes sense rather than it being an actual reality kind of truth, is the underlying emotion that I'm conveying or message with what I'm trying to say is you're safe, or more importantly, you're not trapped. Because if it's a sales call, it's like, oh no, this guy's going to be using language instrumentally in order to get me to agree to something that I otherwise wouldn't agree with. That kind of feels like you don't want to answer the questions because you are afraid that saying yes to this might then put you in a position where you have to say yes to something later, and then you're on the defensive. Whereas when I say, this is a cold call, when I say you can hang up, like I give you the power, you are allowed to leave at any time. Now, you have the decision to leave or stay. Which would you like to do? And I think if you emphasize that you can hang up rather than you can hang up, then the attention is being drawn more to their preservation of autonomy rather than the actions they can actually do, which then they stay on the phone for. Again, but then what I think then the key part though is my intention with the discovery call is to discover whether or not they have the problem that we solve and want to solve that problem. Because if they don't have that problem, it's like, well, you can't help someone who doesn't have the problem that you help with. But so it just still positive day. I like that the dials per day are back to 134, above hundreds kind of thing. And yeah, like I think it's tough because it's like part of me goes like, oh, the data needs to get better, but then it also is like one of those things like it ebbs and flows. Like you can't get attached to the outcome. You have to focus on the fact that you're having conversations. If someone picks up the phone and I can talk to them about the program, they potentially could be interested. That's what the purpose of the call is, to find out whether or not they are the person that we help. And so as long as I'm talking to people who potentially could be people that we help, then the results will follow. Yeah, so I feel good. Also edited a video today. I'm getting a good routine. It seems between 3 and 4 is when I kind of stop. Like I like not block it off, but I go like, okay, 1 to 2 is a prime time, so focus on Eastern calls then. Then 2 to 3, I'm in the groove of calling, so I want to keep going. And it also is in a better sort of time slot. But then take a break for 3, 4 to hit the phones hard again between 4 and 5, where there's always a lot of pickups. Huh. Like this is the day, this is the way I would like to be feeling every day, and it is in far contrast to how I was feeling yesterday. So I should try to keep that up. Still failing to get up early and still failing to go to the gym early, but it still is a target. It's only been 3 weeks. That's all I have to say.